Last year, we took delivery of this, the 2022 Kia Carnival SX Prestige, and added it to our long-term fleet. It was the new hot replacement for Kia Sedona and the latest entry in an ever-shrinking class of minivans. 12 months and over 14,000 miles later, it's time to say goodbye, but not before I let you know everything that we've learned during this year. Let's start with performance since we're already rolling. The Carnival here is powered by a 3.5-liter V6 that makes 290 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. It puts that through an 8-speed automatic transmission to the front wheels only. Now, it's not what I'd call a fast vehicle or even an engaging one, but it's definitely capable. It doesn't feel underpowered even when loaded up with people and cargo. And it's definitely a smooth and comfortable ride, even on this SX Prestige model's optional 19-inch wheels. Over the months, we've hauled people, pets, camera gear, lawn and garden materials. Heck, at one point we had 36 bags of mulch back there. It even hauled ass on the track when we handed the minivan over to pro driver and racing instructor Andy Pilgrim for a hot lap around NCM Motorsports Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky last fall. Generally, we had a pretty easy time beating the EPA's 22 mile per gallon combined estimate while the Carnival lived with our Eastern team. By mid-year, we were routinely averaging around 27 miles per gallon per tank. Now, the Carnival's cabin is generally a nice place to be. This sort of nice leather that they've got going on the Prestige model comes off a little bit more brick orange than the rich tan I think they're going for, but overall it looks pretty good. Now, one thing that I didn't really love was this gloss black that they use for the center console. It's a fingerprint magnet, although it looks pretty clean today, but it is starting to show a little bit of scratching, and I can't help but think that after another year it would look even more worn. One thing that we all generally liked is the infotainment. We've got this large digital instrument cluster in front of us, the large 12-inch screen that we use for our main infotainment and navigation. Now, most of our staff is going to use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay for the bulk of our navigating and media streaming, but even the onboard navigation and menu structure here is really good and easy to use. Now, one nitpick is that with our top spec navigation, you have to step down and lose the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay that you would get on the base model, which makes it a little bit more annoying for short trips when you have to pull out the USB cable and plug your phone in. Wireless would make that better, and I'd like to see that added in the future. Now, part of the reason that we chose the SX Prestige was to spend more time with these captain seat VIP chairs on the second row. In this configuration, we have 7 seats all over, but these ones are kind of the best seats in the house. They have full recline. There's even ottomans that come out for leg rests when you're fully backed up, and they also slide inboard and outboard a little bit, and forward and backwards. So you've got a lot of latitude as far as positioning these seats to maximize leg room on the second row or to accommodate passengers who might want to fit back on the third. Now, the trade-off here is that, well, I really hope you like this configuration because these seats are very heavy and they do not come out easily, if at all, which means that if you're loading really bulky items in the back and you need the whole floor, well, you're probably going to want to step to one of the lower trim levels where those seats come out. Also, it is a little bit difficult to access the third row even when you have this one slid all the way into the side and all the way forward. It's a bit of a tight squeeze here. So if you're going to be loading it up all the time, well, again, another reason to stick with one of the other configurations. The 2022 Kia Carnival starts at $33,275, including a $1,175 destination charge. But this top-end SX Prestige comes in at $47,275 delivered, and it's packed with just about everything you could want in a modern minivan. Add in Astra Blue paint, $495, and carpeted floor mats, $200, and the test car you see here stickers for $47,970. Now, over the year, we spent around $270 on service, including oil changes, filters, wipers, and a correction to the alignment, when we found it pulling to the left slightly in January at around 8,000 miles in. So now that we've spent a year with this thing, what would I like to see changed for the next generation? Well, in addition to that wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay nitpick that I mentioned earlier, I'd like to see some revisions to the driver aid technology, particularly the automatic headlamp system, which seems to turn the headlamps on way too sensitively. It's the middle of the day, and if you go under a tree or an underpass, it'll turn those bad boys on. Now, most drivers probably wouldn't even notice that from the driver's seat, but it's the kind of thing that drives me insane, and I'd probably just end up turning off the automatic headlamps, which is kind of a bit of a problem. The other thing is that I'd like to see all-wheel drive get added to the lineup. Currently, if you want to add that extra bit of sure-footedness and capability for inclement weather or light off-roading, well, you've either got to upgrade to a Telluride or cross the street to your Toyota dealer for a Sienna or go to Chrysler for the Pacifica. Also, I don't know if the SX Prestige is going to be the best trim level for everybody. I mean, those VIP seats are nice when you've got a bunch of adults sharing a minivan, but if you're the kind of person that needs to load this thing up with kids, or if you want to make advantage of the third row, well, the standard seating configuration is going to give you better access. It's going to be easier to get those seats out when you need to get heavy things in, and the materials in that vehicle are probably a better bet for kids in that age group where their hands are always sticky for some reason. But overall, I think I really enjoyed this vehicle, and I think that the rest of our staff has, so big thumbs up there, Kia. So we never did come up with a nickname for the Carnival like we did with Wu-Tang Van or Jerry Stinger or the Swede, and frankly, it's a bit too late now, but that doesn't mean that we didn't enjoy our time with the 2022 Kia Carnival SX Prestige. Would I spend another year behind the wheel of this thing? Well, hell yeah, I would, but for now, it's time to make room in my driveway for our long-term Acura TLX, which, well, I won't spoil it for you. We'll have an update on that soon. And be sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss any of our other long-term updates. We've got a Tesla Model Y, a Volkswagen GTI, and an electric Mini.